Hi, this is Riff with Paul Smith. So you're in the middle of a lot of tour dates at the moment. How are the shows going so far?
Going really well. I didn't really know what to expect from the audiences because I'm making kind of quite different music to what people have known me for in the past. So I was a little nervous that people might be just I don't know, either not interested or just talking in the quiet ones or just not getting it. And it's been really enjoyable just seeing people understanding it and getting to grips with it and sort of falling for new songs. So it's been.
So
really
how have you been welcomed? Have you been received quite well with your new direction?
Yeah. It's been roaring audiences every night, pretty much. I think you can't ask for much more than that.
Good. That's good. How do the crowd compare in the UK to anywhere else?
Well, it's funny because I mean we're from the UK, so it's in some ways people judge you a little more, and they're kind of like the last 3 nights we've played in the UK, and people have been shouting out a lot more, and sort of there's been a lot of banter going on,
So
back and forth.
A bit of participation, isn't
Yeah.
it? So obviously your solo album Margins. How does it differ from Maximo Park? What can the fans sort of expect from it? Obviously, if they haven't already heard it.
Well, it's I suppose it's more intimate, and I sing in quite a different way on a lot of the songs on the record. Some of them are just me and a guitar and singing like I sing at home, rather than part of a big dynamic group. It's the whole record stemmed out of me and in a guitar in a room. And then I got my friend Andy to play the drums, and it was more a case of I would go around with a new song and just play it, and he would then say, can I put the drums on it?
So would you say it's more personal? Obviously, being a small group of people working on the core of the songs.
I would say so. I've never, in Maximo Park, it's such a democracy that none of the songs. Any of ours, they're all, they belong to all of us, and we all have a little input and chip in to the songwriting process. But with Margins, it's kind of it's like a singer-songwriter record, I suppose. And then I've gone in with Andy, and the songs some of them are quite rocking and kind of full on and emotional. But I think there's a thread that runs through all of the things that I write that's quite personal. And with Maximo Park, because it's such a frenetic, dynamic experience, it's the lyrics don't leap out, whereas I suppose the textures on this record and some of the sonic things that we've layered up, they're still sort of a bit slower and a bit more contemplative, so that people can probably focus on the lyrics a little bit more. But it kind of follows in the same vein as what I mean. I realised that what I was good at in terms of writing, what I felt comfortable with fairly early on, and I realised that the things that I talk about are.
So would you say that's more stripped down with guitar and lyrics? You feel more comfortable, and that's your. Is that what you prefer?
I don't know, not really, because I still like jumping around and being full on. So I think it's definitely more my character, whereas Maximo Park taps into just one facet of my character, whereas this record, as I say, some of the songs are like the Crush and the Shatter, for example, is as full on singing as I've ever done. But then you've got something where I'm almost whispering on something like While You're in the Bath, which is very much about what happens in just between two people in a domestic space. So it is quite different, I suppose.
Good. Which shows have really stood out for you so far then? If there has been one in particular.
That's tough because. We started off in Middlesbrough, and on the day the album came out, and not a lot of people would have heard it by that point and had time to digest it. And you again, it's from where I grew up. I used to go out in Middlesbrough all the time, and you kind of just a little bit. You again worried that people are judging you that little higher with slightly higher expectations, and everybody was really nice and kind of quiet and welcoming, and that sort of broke the ice for me. All the sort of nerves flew away, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of the tour. And I think Germany, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether people write about the music in a very informative way or whatever, but people seemed to really understand what I was doing, and it was really, really quiet during the quiet songs, and I think the songs came across well in that environment because people were aware of what it was and already had the album, was singing along. So I think a couple of shows, maybe Hamburg and Munich,
right,
and Cologne as well.
Good. Is there any that are coming up that you're particularly looking forward to playing? Any particular places or venues?
Well, I don't like to give anybody preferential treatment. It's we're finishing the tour in Gateshead, just over the water from Newcastle, and a lot of friends and family are going to be there, and I think that's inevitably going to be a special night, 'cause it's the last one on the tour as well. But Claire, who plays the bass in the band, is from a Leeds band called Beards, and so she's got a lot of friends here tonight.
Right.
And so for her, this is probably one of the biggest nights on the tour. And every night's different. You know, I've always wanted to play in the Deaf Institute in Manchester. I've always wanted to play here at the Brudenell Social Club. I've always seen it on cool tours. You know, it's always the place that bands that I like come, and that's all I've done really when I've booked this tour. I've kind of thought, where would I like to play? What sounds like a good place? Where have friends of mine, like people from Field Music, who David Brewis plays on the record, you know, I said, what do you think would be suitable? And just got a few recommendations. So I'm looking forward to pretty much every night on the tour. You know.
That's good. What have the performances been like then for you? Like, where do you get your energy from when obviously you take to the stage?
The songs drive me always. Whatever kind of music I'm playing, I just respond to it, and that's the bottom line. You know, whatever the song might be. Yeah. Because I've been a big part of every song that I've ever sung. You know, I'm doing a cover in the set, and it's a song that by a guy called Arthur Russell, who I absolutely love, and I've fallen in love with that song, and I've sung it by myself and sung along to it, and so it feels like a part of me is in that song, and and the same it goes even more so for the songs that I've written. You know, I know where they're about, I know who they're about, and I feel like I've got that. If I can do anything well, it's tapping into what the songs are about, and displaying it to people and trying to connect with the audience. I don't want to be sort of just a distant kind of performer. I want to engage with people and make them feel something important and exciting or moving in some way. So yeah, with Maximo Park, the songs are faster and more aggressive, and that I can be aggressive at certain points, and it allows me to do that. Whereas with these songs, I try and make sure that they're like in certain tender moments. You want to make sure that you hit the vocal, and with guitar, I play a few guitar solos in the thing, and it's like, right, it's time to focus on that, and then get back into the emotion of the singing after you've sort of done a little turn on the guitar. So the shows to me are kind of very varied, and you go through different parts of the show, but where it's very quiet for a couple of songs, the acoustic guitar comes out, and then it goes back into the band with a very different feel.
Good. Has it always been present for you, that sort of thing, or has it taken you quite a while to sort of get used to having that sort of stage persona, or was it something that's always been natural to you?
Well, I'd never sung before. I was in Maximo Park, so like until probably about 6 years ago when we first started, I'd never sung in public, and I'd never wanted to. I didn't think I could sing. So for me, the last few years have given me a lot of confidence with my vocals and things like that, where I think I feel like that's what I do now most naturally, is to sing and to write songs and to come up with words that hopefully mean something to other people as well as myself, and it feels like I'm in that groove now, where it feels like that's my kind of vocation in life. So it does feel quite natural to go out on a stage, but there's always nerves, and there's always in the back of my mind, I'm always aware that I'm not a trained musician. I've never played the guitar whilst singing before, so I think I just want to keep challenging myself and trying to find out if I can do new things, on a record, live, instead of standing still. I think that's
good. Yeah,
that's what you've got to
I
do.
suppose you're not growing if you're not learning new things.
No,
so.
no.
What can everyone expect from you next year then?
I don't know. That's the best thing about next year. I mean, I knew I was going to put this record out this year because the songs had all built up, and Maximo Park had done 3 records, so it felt like the right time to kind of do something a bit different in order to keep things fresh. So
good.
Yeah, just writing a lot of songs next year with my new band, with Maximo Park, by myself, just seeing what happens.
Yeah, that's great. What would you say is some of the good points and bad points of being a musician?
Well, the good points always outweigh the bad points. Even when we were in a tiny van with no money, it was still like you felt like a bunch of, I don't know, desperados, to give it a funny title. But you're just out there relying on each other, playing the best that you can, and feeling like your life is worth living, just because you have the faith in the songs and you believe in them. And same now on a bad day, when you don't have a dressing room and you're thinking, where can I go? And after sort of 5 or 6 years, people are sort of looking at you going, is that guy? And they don't, a lot of people are coming to see you, and you kind of you kind of want to hide a bit. Which is nice, to kind of dress up and put a bit of a persona on stage and kind of enhance the things about your character that might make for a good show. But off stage, I kind of sometimes when you want to go down the pub and people sort of start shouting at you, that's a bit weird. But I get to do the thing that I love the most, which is make music, and
that's what counts as well.
Absolutely.
Right, well, if you could tour anywhere with anyone, where do you suppose you would go, and with who?
I'm going to be really cheesy now and just say here and now with the people that I'm with. And, I think every time I'm out on a tour, if I don't feel that way, then there'll be trouble.
Right, well, I suppose that's good. On more of a personal note, have you got any plans for Christmas, or are you just going to be concentrating on the music?
More music, that's what I do now. I kind of sometimes in the past I've you just want to take a bit of a break from everything, but over the last couple of years we've kind of just tried to do things at our own pace. Like this year, Maximo Park went out and played quite a few festivals and what have you, but not really the main ones. Tried to keep a low profile and make sure that what we do is valued, instead of it being just there's that band with you see the same names on festival bills each year, and you kind of know what you're gonna get. And we didn't want to do that this year, so each of our shows this year were quite special. And next year, hopefully, we'll be able to do the same thing, kind of pick and choose a little bit. So I have a bit of spare time now, and I don't feel like I need to rest. I feel like I need to keep working, and there's so many ideas that I have, and so many people to collaborate with as well. When you've got friends of yours who you want to make music with, there's nothing stopping you. Even though I'm in a band that people kind of know on one level, it doesn't mean that you can't do other things, and that's kind of what I'm enjoying doing at the moment. Just making music that I like and pleasing myself, and hopefully pleasing other people as well.
Sounds perfect, really. On a final note, do you have any special announcements or Christmas wishes for any fans out there?
Well, I hope you all have a nice break, whatever religious persuasion you're of, and buy somebody a nice present, because it's better to give than to receive, apparently.
That's great. Well, thanks for taking the time out.
Cheers.
And that's great.
Thank you.
Right, thanks a lot.